Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I have the good fortune to be interviewing my friend, Gabe Lullo from Alleyoop.io. Gabe, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Seth. Well, we're huge fans of yours, so thanks so much for having me, and I'm really excited about this. It's going to be fun.
Well, the admiration is mutual. Before recording this, we recorded my episode on your show, so happy to do the swap. So let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get started?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I realized I wanted to get into sales when I was 11 years old.
That's not
Right?
normal.
No, most of my family, very blue collar, raised in the same area as you, Buffalo, New York, right? So at the end of the day, I just was seeing everyone having to lift heavy things, smell like fish at the end of the restaurant shift to make money. And then when I was 11, I was selling t-shirts for a fundraiser. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm talking and making money. This is incredible. My brain just exploded, and I got excited about the opportunity to get into business. And so that's really where it really started. Went to school for business, but at the end of the day, I got into staffing right out of school, learned recruitment, turned into a training business, and then came on with Alleyoop about a decade ago. And that's really my onboarding, if you will.
Okay, and I'm sure the longer version of that could probably be in a book if it isn't already. Talk a little bit about what Alleyoop does.
Yeah, so what's unique about our company is that, a lot of companies need sales leads, development of business, and it sounds simple to go out there and just prospect. And most companies have always relied on their sales team to do prospecting and closing. Well, we came in and said, you know what, there could be a different way here. What if we had a two-step approach, where we had a dedicated team prospecting and doing outreach, cold calls, emails, LinkedIn outreach. And then we passed the baton to a closer and they ran it over the finish line. So that's what we do for clients, from large enterprise to Ingram Micro, Microsoft, Peloton, ZoomInfo, to startups and founders who are just starting their business and everywhere in between. But we focus on B2B.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. Tell me more. So what type, you mentioned a wide range, but obviously the small business has to be able to afford you and be able to handle the scale you provide. So tell me a little bit more about what type of business this is right for.
Sure. So it's interesting. We actually are not cheap, I will say that, but we're less expensive than if you did it yourself. Right. So it's going to be spent either way. And actually, it's a better price point if you came to us. And it's just due to our size, right? If you need to prospect, you're going to need data. We can buy data at less price points than someone who only buys 1 or 2 licenses. Why? Because we have 150 licenses. So those are the things that we can do, yet we still offer fractional resources. So this is quite new, 3 years old out of our 15 years in business. And a small founder or entrepreneur can come to us and actually get a 50% resource or a 20-hour work week capacity. And we can go out and prospect for that time. And it's a much better price point for them. And so that's how we approach the market. And we can, like I said, go to very small, niche businesses all the way up to large enterprise.
Awesome. And you mentioned both prospecting and sales.
Yeah.
So break that down a little bit for me more in terms of what that looks like, because it sounds like the Holy Grail, in all honesty.
I mean, every company has a sales journey, right? And so we fit just in a very unique space within that sales journey. We're not a marketing firm, but we're also not a sales firm, meaning that we're doing business development or sales development. And so we're taking leads, taking interest, gauging interest, doing cold marketing as well. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to really be the trailer to the movie. We're not closing the deal. We're not telling them how much it costs. We're not asking for a contract, but we're also just not, getting clicks and impressions and trying to, get, interest. We're really trying to take people who may be interested and converting them into committed to at least willing to meet. So if you're booking a discovery call, if you're booking a demo, if you're booking a meet and greet or sit down of any kind, that's where we play and that's what our focus is.
Okay, so you're, let's say, as you mentioned, buying the data, prospecting those lists of my ideal client, and then booking appointments on my calendar of theoretically qualified, interested people who know enough about what we do and fit our ideal client profile, and they want to meet. Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely right. And we also go a little bit further. We call those hot leads where they're right on your calendar. And we also know this though, timing is everything in business, right? They may not want to meet today, but they may still be interested. So we don't just throw those aside. We actually turn those into warm leads and still broker an introduction. So those clients can nurture those leads, connect with them on LinkedIn, maybe send them something that would be a little bit more effective than us doing it. So we're passing the hot leads right onto your calendar and you're just walking into meetings. I mean, think about this. Imagine your sales team wakes up Monday morning, flip open their laptop, and their calendar is full with appointments that are ready to meet. That's the scenario we put our clients into. But we also do a little bit more than that and go farther down the sales journey with them and pass those warm leads that they can also nurture and start building those relationships with.
Well, sign me up. That is absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about the opposite side. So, what
Sure.
are the biggest problems or challenges that you see your clients facing that they're coming to you with?
Well, it's interesting. They actually kind of create their own problems. So you have a VP of sales, an owner, and they have a sales team, and they're saying, "Hey, why is sales down?" And most salespeople's number one first thing to blame is they don't have enough leads, right? The old Glenn Ross approach, right? Hey, we need the
Yep.
leads, we need the leads, right? So they say, "Hey, we need leads to close." They come to us, and then we give them leads, and then they're still not closing. So there is not only a one silver bullet in the sales journey. We absolutely can fix a lead problem, but they also may need more experienced reps or more trained reps down the funnel. So that starts getting exposed a little bit. So sometimes clients come to us to fix a problem and then it exposes a new one. And that's sometimes we have to help them with that as well, or at least point them in the right direction. But if it's a lead issue and they have an irresistible product and they have a great sales team to close business, then it's a home run for sure.
Awesome. That sounds terrific. Now tell me a little bit more about. I mean, you have so many success case studies of happy, successful clients. Can you talk about one or two? What the issue was they came to you with, how you're able to solve it, and kind of what life looks like now.
Our favorite one is ZoomInfo, and ZoomInfo came to us when they were pre-branded to ZoomInfo called Discover.org, and they were going against some titans in the industry, Data.com, Rain King at the time, and they had a great irresistible product, a great team of closers, and they just needed more at bats. So we started prospecting and doing cold calls for them originally, and we helped build an amazing team. And then they actually hired the team, including our first SDR on the campaign, who then became the director of sales development at ZoomInfo directly. And we still, 10 years later, still work with them and launch new products for them and new campaigns for them. So it's an amazing partnership. But they went from a couple $1 million business to a $2 billion publicly traded company. They went IPO in 2020. So an amazing success story. And we are grateful to be a part of that.
That is absolutely incredible. And you would think the lead data company wouldn't need help.
No, exactly. It's interesting because, selling to salespeople is quite unique, but it also really was our starting point. And so it actually spawned off to other companies like Outreach.io, a huge sales engagement platform, SalesLoft, Orem, Sales Intel. So all of these other companies that play in the same space also were a part of our journey. And so it is interesting that data companies have so much success, especially in prospecting, but it's a testament to the ability to prospect, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And there are other companies that claim to do some of what you do or different areas of what you do. What are some of the most common misconceptions clients have about what you guys do versus like what's realistic?
I would say 7 out of 10 times we have an introduction call and they say they've done this before. And so there's about 2,000, and I'm putting in quotes for those who can't see me, 2,000 companies that say they're in the lead gen space. I'm just going to tell you 90% right out of the gates only do email. So they're only sending mass email. And I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with that, but you have to compare apples to apples. We are making 11 million cold calls a year across all of our campaigns. And so the prospecting, that human to human, picking up the phone and having a real person on the other end is what the expensive part is. And that's also our big differentiator. So if a company comes to us and says, hey, I've tried this before, I've done this before, we always ask, what does that mean to you? And then we show how we actually differ. So that's our big differentiator for sure.
Absolutely. And with the success result, like the record track record you've had, how do you manage client expectations?
Well, that's a big thing because a lot of companies come to us where maybe they have tried this before, or maybe they are having a team that they're relying on and they're just not prospecting, or maybe they, have investors that are putting a lot of pressure on them to get results. And they come to us at a time in the business where I would say that the pressure's on, right? Maybe we're the last resort, maybe we're the second to last resort, and they need results right away. So we have to set expectations and say, hey, listen, this is not a light switch. It's super important to understand that we are boiling water, right? No, a watch pot never boils. Well, that's not technically scientifically true, but it does feel like it takes a little bit longer when you're watching it. So you have to realize that this is a game plan, this is a strategy, and this is an actual effective tool, but it's not a light switch. Don't expect all of your leads in your first month. Don't expect them in the second. We do a 90-day assessment. We say you're going to see a boiling point after 90 days. And then from boiling point, that's when we obviously start cooking some good food.
Awesome. You mentioned, I think, 11 million phone calls a year. It's probably even higher volume when it comes to email. How are you guys dealing with all of like the Google and Yahoo changes? How are you dealing with all of the AI email companies? How is that going?
We've made a shift a few years ago, and this is, I think, one of the biggest things that I get feedback on from companies that have also followed suit in a positive way. We don't email like everyone else emails anymore. We're not sending 4 paragraph emails about our offering. We're not, sending very generic, personalized emails where you get an email talking about, oh, I saw you went to the University of Hartford. Do they still do spring fling there? Like it's like this personalization is just fake, and people catch on pretty quickly. And those 4 or 5 paragraph emails, those are getting buried in filters. Google, those are getting marked as spam, and nobody has the time to read them. And frankly, we're going after high-level executives who all have virtual assistants or executive assistants these days. They're not even reading their emails. So our approach to email is we want to sound like we're texting our friends on an iPhone. Literally 1 or 2 sentences, not capitalizing every single letter in your sentences, being grammatically incorrect. My mom will shoot me for that because she's an English teacher, and I will tell you she doesn't like that I say that. But at the end of the day, it makes us sound authentic and human, and people respond to that. So our approach is we're not trying to sell versus email, but we're trying to warm up or tee up the call that's coming in tomorrow, and making it a little bit more warm versus cold.
Absolutely. You've achieved so much success for your clients and for the company. What's your biggest challenge now?
Right now, it's kind of controlled chaos. We're scaling. We went from 35 to 150 in 3 years from the amount of SDRs on our sales floor. Our intention is to double right now in the next year and a half, and we're on pace to do it. But growth always comes with its own challenges, right? Are we having the right team? Do we use the right technology? Are we saying yes to too many customers? And so that's a thing that we always struggle with and have to balance out. And sometimes, we have to say no to a customer. And it's never fun to say that in a professional services business. But at the end of the day, you need to protect your team and your time and make sure that we're spending our energy wisely.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I'm a people person, right? I love people. I really love the idea of someone coming into our team and in 1 to 2 years becoming an expert in prospecting, and then them getting hired by one of our clients and leaving us intentionally. We call it Alleyoop alumni, where they come here, they learn the ropes of how to become a great seller, and then they graduate and they go to one of our clients, which, by the way, our clients can hire our reps. It's part of our offering, which is kind of unique as well. But at the end of the day, we see them thrive and become successful. And I have friends of mine who are now VPs of sales, CROs, owners of companies that started on our sales floor 10 years ago. And some of them became multimillionaires in IPOs and exits and all the fun things. And it's pretty cool to see that.
Well, that is awesome. Congratulations on that. We know your time's incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. For our folks watching or listening who want to learn more, where is the best place for us to send them to learn about Alleyoop and your podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started a podcast. We've been watching yours and getting the advice from you, and we're so thankful for our collaboration with you and what you do. We started a podcast. It's called Do Hard Things, because sales is hard too, and so we feature successful entrepreneurs such as yourself, and we really dive into their story and figure out where they started and why they do the things that they do. And it's really inspirational to our team as well as our audience. And on the flip side, people can come see me and check me out at LinkedIn. I post literally twice a day. I'm very bullish on LinkedIn. And so ping me on LinkedIn if you have any questions or just want to chat.
All right. This has been Seth Greene with Gabe Lullo. Gabe, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Seth.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.